Hey, hello, fam. How you doing?
Hey, hey, Jesus, my brother. Hey, how are you doing today? So I would say let's wait a few minutes till we have a few more people in this space so that we can start then. And an honor to have you today. An honor to have you 11 too. So let's see. Having a little bit problems with the background music at the moment. So yeah, I don't know. It doesn't work well. So it's typical for Twitter Spaces, as we all know. But let's see if we find a few other people and till the space is a little bit filled, and then we are going to start. And as I can see here is David Gonzalez, my newly made friend, up on the audience. Welcome to, my friend. Welcome to. As I mentioned before, we have a few technical problems with the background music. I don't know why, but yeah, it is sometimes. So but to fill the silence a little bit, I guess. Our head of spaces sergeant, as I is talking about everything today here to you, is claiming his new role or claimed his new role a few days ago as CMO from another project that is called AMates AI. So I guess you guys should better watch and look into it because, yeah, the Synergy Media Circle and the Synergy Media team is partnering with them too. So amazing opportunity to look into very, very early. Don't forget to follow each other and to retweet the space so that we can bring more people to the audience and share it to your loveliest people so that we can start in a few, I guess, 1 or 2 more minutes before we start. And then I'm going to introduce everything and I'm telling the people what we're doing and then let's go.
Yeah, while you do the presentations and all the stuff, I'm gonna take the place in the office. Just over the door to my wife, and she's gonna take care of the kids. So I'll be back in 2 minutes while you do the introduction.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Please take your time and yeah, but as real one by myself, I know how life is sometimes plain, and I know that you're on vacation time at the moment, and it's an honor that you take your time to join us and join me here to have a talk. It's amazing, my brother. Thank you very much for this.
What's up, guys? I'm not sure if I could hear everybody because I can only hear the host.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me now, bro? If not, please go down and try to come up again.
No, I hear you, but if anybody else is speaking, I'm not hearing them.
Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, you then please try to rejoin, and maybe we will see. But the only one who speaks at the moment was Jesus, because James from Limp Dow is going to join a little bit later. And yeah, maybe you will hear him in a few. If not, step down and jump back on. So will be no problem, my brother.
Okay, I'll be back in like just 2 minutes.
Love holds my temptation. Love holds my. It's different since you left me. Travel around the world, get the check, please. This Irish girl won't forget me. It's different without you. Fell in love with her red hair and tattoos. Smile on her face, but it's bad news. Five missed calls, left a message. Find your love and address it. Swear, baby, you're the best dance. I'm done chasing hoes, living reckless. Spent half my life in that direction. Chasing the tail of the next bitch. Many times I've been on her investment. Now I know why you hold that resentment. See the pain in your complexion. I've improved with my many second chances. Love's fun, but baby, you enhance it. Our toxic love is romantic. It's different since you left me. Travel around the world, get the check, please. This Irish girl won't forget me. It's different without you. Fell in love with her red hair and tattoos. Smile on her face, but it's bad news. Love holds my temptations. Couple drinks and my heart's racing. Another round up, down, more chasing. I'm free, let the bar take me. It's hard when you call me baby. Wanna fuck, but we can't. Okay, guys, so I say we would start. The music I just played was, I hope you could hear it a little bit. I tried to improvise a little bit because the technique doesn't work today. So, but yeah, I was in a space with this artist this morning and we talked and we vibed cool. So, but yeah, let's say hello and welcome to our today's Synergy Circle. It's the third round and we have amazing guests as always for you. I mean, we are Synergy Media, founded in 2023, and this decision from Jan and Jan came straight out of full passion for Web3 and love for the German quality standards. Yeah, we guys will make the Made in Germany slogan great again, I guess. And our services are about web and graphic design, social media management, marketing, advisory, content creation, and since a few weeks, community talks and spaces like our Synergy Circle here. I'm Sergeant, and in real life, they call me Steven, the head of Spaces, and I love to welcome you all over here today. So let's come to our legendary guests, and for today, or morning, or evening, for some of you, let's jump to Jesus first. Jesus, we've met in Paris, and I would love to introduce to hear how to introduce yourself, my brother. Please go forward.
Yeah, hello everyone and good afternoon. Uh, my name is Jesus or Jesus. Both of them, it doesn't matter really. To do a quick explanation on what I've been doing, I started like most of us back in the time in 2016. Basically, I started about testing every single project or every single product in in the Web3 space, and then I quickly became basically surrounded by the whole Binance ecosystem. For like 3 years from now, I've been doing with them all the stuff for Binance Angels. Besides that, BNB Chain Ambassador and helping to build a Trust Wallet, which is the Web3 wallet from Binance, like testing it and giving feedbacks and everything. Well, besides that, in my free time, basically, what I do is collecting NFTs. Ethereum was the most when they started, and now full ordinals since they started also. So really good stuff. And mostly that's why I don't normally talk in spaces is because all I do is trying to connect Web3 companies to work together, and that's my best to be honest. I do some content on the free time also, just like to move the way around and try to create some interest on social media, but mostly connecting Web3 people to start working. And I've been doing that for many years, connecting NFT projects, clothing companies, many things. So I think that's a quick explanation.
Sounds amazing, brother. Sounds amazing. And yeah, we met already in Paris the first time, and now we met in Lisbon a few ago. So it was an honor to meet you and to vibe with you. I mean, we had a different time instead of the other pitch guys who tried to always come to the party and give a pitch. So I guess we had real moments, and uh,
Yeah,
that's the
it
reason
was
why I
yeah
invited you here. And it's an
that
honor, my
was
brother, to
actually
have you on stage.
yeah it was actually a great event. We started to feel it in Paris when we didn't feel that much the ordinary space, but in Paris was definitely, I mean, in Lisbon was definitely huge, huge amount of representation of the ordinary space, and that was very good to see there. Unfortunately, I missed it to go to Consensus, which I was invited in Austin, Texas, but I had a lot of fun in this one too. So looking forward to meeting the next one. I'll be heading to Dubai actually in October if anyone wants to join for the Binance Blockchain Week. Um, so that's good stuff.
Yeah, I heard about it. And the people I saw you tweeted something that the people can, if they want to join, have a discount code over you. So I guess the people that will listen afterwards in the space and are already here can use this if they want to join, and they are going to meet you there, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Or even that, if you're working for a press company or anything related to the Web3 space, just let me know. You can send me a DM or whatever. Because sometimes they have like a special access for press or any other company related, and there are many chances to enjoy there.
Yeah, thanks. Amazing. Thanks for this opportunity. And you are going to join the Binance camp in a few. Do you want to tell us something about this?
Yeah, well, that's an activity for whoever is interested on the Binance Angel program. What we basically do is try to guide the user on any problem they could have with the platform, plus promoting the values of the company. And once every while, we do camps for affiliates, KOLs, and then in this case, it's also for angels. So it's gonna be in Poland. We basically we're gonna have some fun in there, enjoying a little bit of relax, meeting each other because normally we are people from several countries in the world. We are like 300, 3 to 400 people, active ones. And once in a while, we meet in a relaxing space so we can talk about the new things, what's coming, opinions, and then also have a little bit of leisure. So I may do some kite surfing over there. Even I hear the water there is cold.
Yeah, amazing. It's amazing, and it's amazing which parts and what way you go in the Web3 and what you went through. I mean, it's amazing. But we
Yeah,
already talked in person, so and I can't wait to meet you again to have a talk in person because the moments we had in Lisbon was amazing, and we had an amazing time. So thanks for this
yeah.
again.
I think that
Yeah,
happened to many of us, like especially the ones that comes for like 6 to 8 years of experience, 6 to 10. We normally have made the blockchain a part of our lives. So, for example, daily I talk to people that normally they're traders, they invest, but they don't do anything else. And in this case, for example, my profile, I've been going through everything pretty much. I started trading, then content, collecting NFTs, trying to bring the Web 2 to Web 3. And at the end, when you touch everything in the space, you actually feel what was your strong field. And in my case, it's like the branding content, which basically for who doesn't know and sometimes listen about branding content is basically the photography that you see that applies to the product and basically creates a connection between the user and the brand. To be honest, it's no more than that.
yeah, 100%. I mean, the connection between real ones and the people in the space is so necessarily needed. I mean, I had a call today where we talked about this because a lot of people just try to hide behind the PFP. And I mean, I will come to this point later. but I mean, you and me, we both don't do that, and we are not interested in this because we are who we are and we are real as possible, you know. So I guess in the modern days, it's necessarily needed to be doxxed and to be yeah to be a face for the community and for the people. So yeah. But let's come to our first guest, the legend from Hollywood, I would say, the marketing machine and the guy who made a lot of animated movies and was involved in an X-Men movie and the Final Destination 4. I would say welcome to Mikhail Simka, and I would love to hear your introduction about yourself, my brother.
Wow, thank you for the flowers. I feel like I needed like an intro song or something after that. So I was hearing in the background, I was hearing like animation machine. I was hearing Kesha playing. She's like tick tock. But anyways, we could just imagine that. So my name is Michael. I've been trying to be a real boy since I was a young puppet, and then I doxed myself. And no, I've always been doxxed. I actually had a Twitter, I had a verified blue check mark, yeah, before the whole thing even went, because I'm not famous, but I work with a lot of famous people, as Sargent said. So um, I think we met too. Like, did we meet in East Denver? I was at the ape party. Who was that? The tequila ape or something?
If you talk to me, I'm unfortunately not because I don't own an ape. But
Oh,
maybe
okay.
Jesus, I don't know, maybe Jesus. We haven't met. Unfortunately, we haven't met yet. But I guess we can change it for sure, 100%. And in the future, I don't know. Do you have plans to visit events or some? Yeah, do you have plans to visit some events?
Well, yeah, definitely. Once we like get into the merch side of things, so I'm making a studio. So I had a studio with Lionsgate for a long time, like a decade. I made, I don't know, 20, 30 movies. I directed 12 of them. They're animated films. So I had people like Ariana Grande and Miranda Cosgrove, a lot of like SNL comedians and stuff. They're just like, I don't know. I compare them to like bad freestyle rap. We write them really fast and we try to be funny. Sometimes we succeed. And then, when we sell them at Walmart to trick unsuspecting moms into thinking that they're Disney movies. So that was my business model. And we sold a lot of DVDs. But then Walmart decided not to sell DVDs anymore. And I had to get into crypto. So that's why I'm here. I'm like, how do I make a DVD deal, fellas? And nobody seems to want to tell me. So I had to learn how to code, which was like weird, like all kinds of numbers and shit, and Solidity, and hanging out with Patrick Collins, and which he's cool. I like hanging out with Ariana Grande more than Patrick Collins, though. So I don't know. We did at East Denver. I was in the hackathon, and we won for building like an NFT bridging system and collateralization. So we did this like weird kind of like fractionalization. I called it best of three algorithm, where well, you could like lend and not get liquidated like you do on Bendao in that way. Like it was like safer. Um, and now I'm just trying to like well, yeah, the studio. So I'm making a studio just like I had at Lionsgate, except for it's all going to be like for crypto projects. So we're going to bring in the same celebrities and stuff and make animated content and put it up to Twitter and TikTok and like a series, just to have fun. And then you know, the whole meme coin thing and everything. But like just not it's going to be different. It's going to be fun. I think we got to bring fun back. Make America fun again.
Like we try to make the German made in Germany stamp great and fun again, I guess. Yeah, 100%. Thank you for this. And the reason why you joined Web3 is because you didn't sell so much DVDs. Yeah.
Yeah, the reason, well, like because Hollywood is like the executives at Hollywood, I loved having an executive because I'm very irresponsible. And so like I could just go make a movie and they're like, you better have it in or we're not going to pay you. And then I would do it because I want to get paid. But then I don't really like making movies by myself and being like the boss of everything because then you got to like, you have like stress and stuff. So I actually like the mainstream. Like people were like, "Ugh, corporate America and everything." I'm like, I actually like corporate America. I kind of like it. Like I don't want to go to someone's gym that's in their garage or something. I want to go to like Equinox where I know it's clean and like I don't know about all these people that want to like go be homeless and not have a corporate system. Like fuck that. I like corporate system. But what I don't like is they just like they like they try to make things not funny now. Like you make something that's like mild, like especially if you're not that funny to begin with, and then they're like, now you have to also be inclusive and talk about Me Too and talk about like you have to have four cartoon characters of color, and if you don't, then like it's just not gonna work for us. I'm like, you guys, like I'm not Robin Williams. Like you put these handcuffs on me, I'm just not gonna be able to be funny anymore at all, and these movies are going to suck. So I just got fed up with it. Plus, the DVDs stopped being sold at Walmart, so like more than half of our revenue was gone. So I just decided I'm gonna be a bum and move to Mexico for a little while and just like hang out on the beach until I get a new idea. Of course, just sitting on the beach in Mexico is very nice. You can go surfing and all that, but like it gets boring. So I started watching YouTube videos and I was like, oh, I'm going to learn Haskell. I'm going to learn, operating systems. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to learn Web3. And then I was like, oh, let's go to this conference. And that's how it happened.
Wow, sounds amazing. Thanks for the insight, brother. Thanks. And we have David Gonzalez on stage, who's connected to the Tiger King. I guess we all know him and we all know what is actually going on. So, bro, you're spontaneous up on stage, so I would love to hear your introduction and what you're doing and why you're doing it. And please overtake the mic and tell us something about you, bro.
What's going on? Name's David Gonzalez. I did a 20-year stint up at a little place. They did a documentary called Murder Mountain. I came from the weed industry, Humboldt County. But prior to that, I did work in Hollywood for a little bit. My son's grandfather was actually our CEO. He built Interscope Records with Jimmy Iovine, working with artists from Madonna all the way through Lady Gaga. So I got to work with a lot of really, rich individuals, not just wealthy, but rich in knowledge. And they taught me a few things, and then I decided, cannabis was a little bit more my rhythm. The industry was hot. I built a few businesses in that sector. I was actually the number one cannabis influencer for a minute. Um, Really, all I did was just grind out and end up in a new city every other night, hanging out with cannabis fools, and it was just a lot of fun. I think a lot of people, they get away from their roots of just, relaxing and having fun and doing something that they're passionate about. And that was fun, and ultimately the industry kind of just, like Michael, like industries take their cycles. Technology advances and crypto piqued my interest. I was actually onboarded into crypto due to a little coin called T King, which was the Tiger King on ETH. Um, I made some great money on that trade. It shot to 1 million right away, and then fell to 10K for about 5 weeks, and we just grinded out on the timeline. We were just having fun, just being silly and messing with memes, and really got to kind of learn the value there. And ultimately, like we poked and prodded enough people, and five weeks later, towards the event, right? The event and the catalyst, right? That's a lot of these meme coins take the two, and they skyrocket. But yeah, like ended up sending that thing to 400 million. It was pretty incredible, and the only reason why it really fell apart was just because of greed. Like Joe's, it was an ETH contact or a contract, so Joe never was a beneficiary of anything, capital gains. Like his attorney and the KOLs were the only people that really ate, other than people that held their bags through that time period. But yeah, Joe is nothing but a blessing in my life, and he truly did onboard me. I brought countless homies in that, like, they bought Bored Apes, they brought millions of dollars in, like, so much has happened in the last 3-4 years in regards to my integration into crypto. I or let's see, 1, 2, 3. So it has almost been 4 years. But I know that I've been a positive in this industry, and like like the whole celebrity thing, they're definitely being misused and abused. I don't think they're like most of them. I don't think are out there just to take money from their fans. That's like the dumbest thing to do as a celebrity. I think it's just like you got bad teams. A lot. I've told this to people is like you support scammers, they're going to get more sophisticated. They're going to rub elbows. They're going to get a hold of these people, and so it's like somebody's got to step up and do something. And I watched another coin take advantage of Joe's likeness of name, and I kind of just was quiet because I'm friends with some of the people that did the coin, and I watched them run it into the ground. And I was like, you know what? They didn't even care not once that this guy is literally in jail with cancer. And Joe was such a benefit in my life. I was just like, I felt obligated to do something. I knew I was going to get a bunch of flack for it and everything, and so I ran it to like what I believed was like white glove service and in respect to Joe's name, and we ended up getting legal counsel for him. And yeah, I mean, I'll let 11th talk if he wants to speak in regards to his potential involvement in the project, but I'm about it. I really genuinely think that we can actually give Joe his fair chance as a free man. He really deserves it, and that's why I'm really doing it. You let passion drive you, and you have fun doing it, and you don't forget about that. Like you get different types of results. So like we've already 10x this week from like a low. Um, but it was kind of necessary. You have to get battle tested in this industry to see if you're really going to make it long term. And this project's got it. It really's got it, and we're using it as a use case to like see how far we can integrate into celebrities' content. That's going to outlive. It's going to outlive their life. It's going to outlive our lives. Like like that content's going to go on forever. The same as all these tokens that are made thousands a day, and creating real use cases. And somebody's got to go be the crash test dummy, right? Otherwise, if we don't try to break it, we can't fix it and make it better. But yeah, hey, thanks for having me up on stage.
I like that. I like that. And I have a lot to say actually about that. Um, Celebrities get
I
a
don't
bad
believe you,
rap.
bro.
Celebrities get a bad rap, man. Celebrities are people too. I think we just all gotta like take a minute and just like recognize that because they don't like. You're right, David. And like I've been saying that I've been preaching this that celebrities aren't here to just like rug people. Like they get up in the morning and like rug people. That's not what they're trying to do. Like you gotta like see. Like I hung out with them. I hang out with celebrities, and I know how they think. I know what they do. They get up and then you know they get up early because they're like I got to go to Equinox and like get see my trainer, and they go and they spend like $100 on a training session, which is like I'm like bro, that's a lot. But they do that, and then they're like, I gotta find like a vegan place to eat. I gotta like hit my Twitter and like comment on all this shit, faux show, smiley face, stuff like that. And like, at what point in their day are they like, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna steal from all my fans so I can have a little more money, and I'm gonna turn into the Joker from Batman. Like they
Yeah,
don't do that. They don't do that. There's
yeah,
no way they do that. It's just like
I'm with you, man.
there's no way. There's no way.
I think
Like
they actually less. I think they are less interested than us actually on releasing the token than the people is waiting for them to be released. Like for them, it's something like, okay, someone told me this is gonna be fun. Okay, let's throw it. But I don't think they actually do it even for the money at all. It's just like, okay, let's get integrated into what's the hype thing.
the relevance is the currency. in Hollywood. Like nobody really cares about money. Like it's funny. That's how it is. Like they don't care. Like true diehard celebrities, not the celebrities who are like, there's some that are like, I'm gonna go get a yacht or something, but like the people who come that want to play baseball, and the baseball is fame, and they get there and they're like, I gotta get on this person's YouTube. I gotta like get a small part in that role. I gotta also like be at this party. Like that's all they're thinking about. Like they're just not thinking about how could like that'd be like selling an arm. For a celebrity to just like sell their name to like rug people, that's like you or me like, yeah, well, how much you give me for this arm? Like 500,000? No, that's not what they're doing. They're not the smartest people in the world. I'll tell you right out that. There are a few very smart people. I worked with Ken Jeong. He was a doctor before he was an actor. Very smart. Played in a little movie called The Hangover as Mr. Chow. And then he worked in my movie, so he was moving up. And this guy could like remember all his lines, like entire pages of lines, and just like spit them freestyle and add some crazy, improv stuff on top of it. And it was just like it was beautiful. It was like a Chinese Robin Williams, and it was amazing. And John Lovitz, genius. Rob Schneider, I know people like to like rag on him, but the guy's very, very smart. He's a little cranky. Rob's a little cranky, but he's extremely smart. And then you got people like Tom Arnold. I won't get into it. Tom played in a couple of my movies. He's a great, great fella. Couldn't remember his lines, but good guy. So most celebrities are not rocket scientists. They're I would say like if you had like a bar of like intelligence, they're crawling up to that average bar level. They're like almost at that average, not like way below or like but yeah, they're just like just under the water there. And they're not thinking mastermind schemes. Like they don't think like this guy Sahil, who was that was his name, right? The guy who sold curry and shit, and then found a phone and sold meme coins and ripped everybody off.
He did do 10-figure deals with the Kardashians prior to Jenner and all that. But here's the thing: when you misuse that power,
I've
I
heard him
think that
talk though. I've heard him talk, and he can't
yeah,
really speak English, so I
yeah.
find that hard to
I,
believe.
I I've got some amazingly talented people that struggle with English, from Germany to even some Australians. It's like, what the fuck did you say, Mike? Like,
Okay, wenn du willst auf Deutsch sprechen, das können wir auch.
like there's a bunch of people that you're gonna find all different types, and unfortunately, in this industry, you do see certain areas that really misuse and abuse this technology, and ultimately, why can't we all get along? But yeah, like if you just sit there and you're just like constantly just like like throwing a coin into like the 10 million range and then rugging it, like, yeah, there's going to be some winners, but those are going to be like sophisticated traders on the in. And like these people have to like unlearn bad habits, I believe, to go towards like good people and have those experiences. But track rapport, or track record, and good rapport is what you got to look for. And he's got the track record, he doesn't have the good rapport. And personally, I would love to have a space with them, and we could talk about it.
No,
Um,
no, 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 no.
yeah,
He
but
just doesn't get it, bro. He doesn't get it. He doesn't know how to put himself in the shoes. See, I identify as a circa 2010 horny female pop star.
I
So,
believe you, bro.
like, I know how celebrities think. I've been there, bro. I
Well,
drove a douchey convertible car on Sunset Boulevard, blasting Kesha, grow a pair.
Yep.
No, I don't want to see your mangina. And I'm like waving my hands. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to see your man. I know. Sahil doesn't know. He's like driving that Rolls Royce, like trying to look Gucci, like with a cigar. I'm like, bro, that's like so 1990s. Like, who are you, fucking Biggie or something? Like, first of all, Biggie was like murdered,
You know.
so there's that. Kesha's still
Yeah.
doing things. Kesha kind of looks like she's in Long Island, drinking Chardonnay, watching Fox now.
You know that
But like, she's still
Doctor.
around.
You know Dr. Luke. He offered me $2 million to get into the cannabis shit. It was I turned that shit down because that whole Me Too movement was just happening.
People don't know that Dr. Luke is actually a doctor too.
Yeah.
Dr. Luke, I have so much respect for Dr. Luke. Actually, like, I'm not even gonna like go there with the Me Too stuff because I wasn't there,
No,
and I
me
don't know. I mean, the
again.
guy could have erectile
Look,
dysfunction. It could be
look,
impossible, like that he
look.
actually abused Kesha. I don't know. Like, I never
Hollywood.
talked to him about that. I just talked to him about music. But the guy
Hollywood
makes
does weird shit.
something we call candy for your ears, and I respect that.
100. And it brings me back to another point. Like, sometimes like people get psyoped and they take advantage of a moment, and like nobody knows the real details unless you were there. And we got a due process system for crime, and it sucks because I feel like that whole movement kind of like led into like our country's chaos. And I think people, when they look backwards, they'll see the timeline and all of that. So yeah, it's hard to like really form like really strong opinions like, oh, Joe Exotic deserves to be in jail the rest of his life without having like a full scope of like the gravity of the situation, the actual evidence of what's going on. People just make their own assumptions, and that only makes an ass out of you and me. So yeah, like DYOR, like before you start like putting it on the timeline and have these permanent fucking thoughts in your head. Like, I always understand that anybody that is manipulating is always going to lie to the very end, So, yeah.
But like, they don't even lie good. That's what I'm mad about. Like, I don't care if they lie. Like, just make it like interesting and like I saw through that like immediately. I was like, man, I know the end of this
Well, what's
story.
crazy
Everybody
is
loses their money. This is not fun. Like a good liar is like a good film director. Like they come in. I mean, it
do you
shows
know
they
who's
care too. It shows they care. I'm stealing this from Tim Dillon, by the way. He just said this the other day. Tim is, I like him. He's a reasonably good comic, and he said that lying shows that you care because it shows that I care enough about you that the situation, I don't want to tell you the truth because it'll hurt your feelings, or I don't want to tell you the truth because like something else, like some other reason. I don't know. He didn't give any other reasons. It was just like the hurt your feelings thing. But I thought that was pretty good. Like if you tell someone like you look fat in that dress, like because it's true, like that shows you don't care. So like you got to like think about it that way. Sahil on the other hand, he just came in with that like thick Indian accent. He's like, hello, I get to come Kardashian, and I was like, this isn't a good lie. This is not fun. And then we see people like buying his things, and I'm like, bro, shh. Like we got to get some good liars up on the stage and make it interesting. That's what I think.
Well, have you ever heard of a name? Her name was Sandra Day O'Connor. She was the first woman as a Supreme Court justice.
Was she on The Simpsons?
No. She was first. She was originally from Arizona, but she was one of the longest running Supreme Court justice members. And
I know
she
Victoria Justice. I don't know if there's any relation.
No. Sandra Day O'Connor is something you learn in social studies. She's a historical figure in the United States, and she had a lot of comments, but nobody wanted to listen to her comments in regards to all that what was going on, because Hollywood wanted their narrative, they wanted their drama, and unfortunately, like people thrive off that. Reality TV got people frothing for drama.
Well, it's all the comments. The comments, like there's a show on the Daily Wire now.
One of them was
like the comments are so important now. There's a whole show on the Daily Wire called the comments section. It's like if you thought comments were boring, like like here, like put it on steroids and make a show out of the comments. It's called the comment section with Brett Cooper. It's an amazing idea. Take something super boring and super shitty and make a whole show out of it and put in some production value. You guys should totally watch it. I watch it every day. It's like it's amazing.
Yeah, man. So let me ask how you guys doing? Like, what's going on in your part of the world?
Well, I'm just listening to you all and walking the dog, doing some homework and stuff, man. Like that is life. Literally feeling so busy, but yeah, having some fun with you here at the moment.
Well,
And for the
and
rest, I'm traveling soon. Yeah, going planning to go to the beach this summer, renting a house somewhere. Uh, Looking forward to see what's the market going.
yeah, and
I
unfortunately, we aren't able, or we weren't able to have James, who was a guest up here since now, but I guess David is filling the spot amazingly. And uh, you talked about German, Mr. Simka. Bist du Deutscher? Hast du deutsche connections? Do you have something related to Germany?
Nein, ich bin kein Deutscher, aber ich hatte eine Freundin in Wien und sie sprach sehr gut Deutsch. Und es macht die Sex besser, wenn ich Deutsch spreche mit ihr.
Okay, sounds amazing. Yeah, thanks for this. Sounds amazing. Great. And it's a great opportunity to have you guys all here and to vibe with you because that's how we live the space here. This is what we want to do in Web3. We want to make it a little bit more, yeah, a little bit more cool and relaxing instead of giving everyone a pitch. So we want to give everyone the stage to talk about themselves and be real as possible, you know? And I guess this is what we guys are here. So I would love to hear about your future plans. What do you think about the future? Do you have any plans, guys? What plans do you have, please? I, who wants to go
I,
first? I
I'm
would
I'm
say
bu-
David
I'm
first.
bullish on the future because I have a real firm grasp of reality that we don't own any of this present. We just simply lease it from the future. So your boy's gonna go out kicking, trying to make sure it's fucking kick ass.
Yeah, myself is looking pretty bullish too. Like as I always been doing. For right now, for example, I'm like doing some freelance work, but I've been checking out some companies to work with. So eventually, I will get into them and say just growing, doing more curriculum, and I'm learning every day. I think this is a long ride. This year, for example, in Spain, we have all this stuff with the regulation, which I don't know what's the point of that. So just getting ready, cleaning the accounts, and making all the paperwork easy for me and for the office also. And that's the close person right now. And on the future, I say pretty bullish on everything that is going on.
I'm very optimistic about the future. You hear about people who are not optimistic, and I'm like, you guys aren't looking at the situation. Like, yes, there's going to be like nuclear war and all that. Like, I mean, I heard that it takes like it's 77 seconds. I don't know how they calculated that, but they said once they first push the button for nuclear war, it takes 77, or maybe it's minutes. 77 minutes. They're very precise though. 77 minutes, and the whole world becomes like Terminator 3. And I'm like,
Don't
wow,
don't
or
tempt
no,
your
no,
boy
Last
with a good
Escape from New
don't
York.
don't tempt your boy with a
No, no, no,
good
no, no, no,
time.
no.
I
That's
do better when
that's
there's no power, no electricity, no nothing. Yeah, let's
See, that's it though. That's it. I thought you were gonna say let's not think about that. But like that's it. That's how I look at it because like I was in the middle of like trying to like do like learn business and like be responsible. I've mentioned that in the past. Like I've got bad credit, so I'm like talking like people who are gonna repair my credit and like I'm like this sucks. Like you gotta like meet with an accountant, get all your taxes and everything all like but like, if there's a nuclear war, you don't got to do that. You can just like you just not do that. And so then the game is just have fun. You just have fun And like that's all we ever wanted. Like think about it. When you were a teenager, you're like, what if we don't have to grow up and get jobs and stuff? Like, and now that's it. Like we're like I'm in my 40s, and like I get to be a teenager again. I'm like, fuck it, you know. There's gonna be a nuclear war, so you know, just like have fun and stuff. I don't know. I think so. I'm very optimistic.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, man. Like that's why I've been training for all these years, like going to try to survive in the middle of the mountains. Like every time I do a trip, I just go back to a world with nothing and try to have fun. And yeah, lately I'm not really much worried about that. I think it will happen from one day to another, but we think too much of the future, and we shouldn't think too much of the future. One of the things I learned on the Web3, which is very important, because besides the Web3, I have my own business, which has to do with agricultural field. We do DNA research. Well, basically, I got so much stress, but on the Web3, I discovered how to manage that. I don't know, well, probably happened to you all too. Like when you're used to gain and lose a lot of money in a small range of time, at the end there is 2 points: you kill yourself, or you are like, okay, let's learn it, just take it easy, and one day is one day, next day is the other one, and then you start not worrying that much about the things and more enjoying the free time with the people.
Yeah, like think about it. Like you're walking down Sunset. This is like after the first mushroom cloud, and like there's like there's a lot of dead people. There's probably like a lot of ash and stuff. It could be like, the air's not great. You're probably like your car might not work, so it's hard to get to Venice to go to the beach. So there's problems there, but like think about it, like you caught us, you found some roadkill, you're eating, and you see someone else, their like clothes are all burned up, and they come up to you and you meet them. What's the chances, like if you say some racist shit, you're like that they're gonna be like pull like a Me Too on you, like that they're gonna care. They'll be like, bro, like where's the canned food? They're not even gonna care. So like freedom, man.
Yeah, 100% agree with you guys. And finally, our friend James, the presentation and the head and the founder of the Limpo DAO project, is over here, the head of Mochaverse DAO community, and the connected one to ApeCoin is on stage now. He finally made it after his business call. So glad to have you on stage. Please introduce yourself to these legends here and to the audience. And yeah, welcome on stage, my brother.
Our bosses. What's up, dog? GM, so lucky to be here and to made it finally to the call. Yeah, straightly coming from the DAO community meetup from Limpo. It's like every Thursday, and yeah, it's quite fun to build up a DAO like from scratch actually, together with Animoca Brands, which is the owner of the main Limpo project. And it's really exciting actually going to all these building up the DAO structure process, and also like building up a council member structure and AIP teams who later can support authors or people who apply for fundings. So really interesting time beside everything which is of course going on in the ApeCoin DAO space actually, which is really exciting, and in Mochaverse. So that of course are the main projects actually I care or are most exciting to follow. And yeah, happy to be here. And sadly haven't heard a lot of the topics so far, but maybe you can give me a short.
Yeah, we dived deep into Hollywood and celebs, I guess. Yeah, so I guess we dive deep into Hollywood and celebs itself. So I guess those legends over here had a nice conversation. I guess David and Mr. Simca overtook the mic, and it was a blast so far. It was a blast so far. So I would love to hear from you. What are your future plans for you project, and what are there any events you are going to join in the future, my brother?
Yeah, I think like I mean the next event would be maybe if I really get it would be like Singapore on the Token 2049 event. That will be huge, I think. But else, Apefest, of course, it's like already in October. And Apefest in Lisbon, it's a must go. I see Makash in the audience. I hope a truck full of vodka and gin and everything will be there. Yeah, maybe he always already has his world record bottle in the making. I heard he wants to make a like 3,000 liter bottle, so that would be crazy if that will be uh, to look on at Ape Fest. Yeah, but I think actually, if I hear like the relation to Hollywood and all that stuff, and yeah, all the celebrity meme coins actually popping up on every edge. It's funny, because like Limpo is a project which is working mainly with real world people, especially with real world athletes. So we have like uh, NBA stars, which we released the NFT collection for, or soccer players, and also like esports people, like Counter Strike players, which are famous. And one guy we have is Tony G. He's a famous poker player, and he's also like we're coming to us actually because he's like also one of the main investors in Limpo itself, to like create some kind of meme coin for his given coin poker. It's called platform. And yeah, of course you see the celebrities, and also yeah, try maybe to use their ecosystem, actually, for of course, some pump and dump scammy meme coins, yeah. But there are, of course, like maybe also Wu-Tang Clan. I'm seeing doing something with the runes, yeah, and yeah, like some are trying to use it really as some kind of entry to their fan base, I would say, because a meme is, of course, a topic every fan can in some way maybe identify itself. It's just humor, it's no real utility to understand. And that's, of course, what makes overall meme a success in a bit in the wider masses, not the real big masses so far. But it's mainly easy to understand. You don't have to check utility. No one is talking about of staking and contracts and revenue and all the stuff. It's just like, oh, that's fun, and my favorite guy is maybe supporting it. And like with Tony G, if you can like integrate the token he's making into his poker platform and give it a use case later on, perfect. So just maybe one example where, of course, celebrities can also do some good job.
Yeah, I mean,
I
and
totally agree with you. I totally agree with you on that. Like the meme coins make it fun again. Absolutely. Like take my picture, my PFP. It's a picture of a monkey, and he's like a high status, like he's like kind of like in the background. He's like subtly, I'm better than you, and that's valuable in and of itself. Because like if you can walk around with saying like I'm better than you without actually saying I'm better than you, because like that sucks. Like you meet somebody and you're like, I've done this and I know this person or whatever. But if you could just like wear a Rolex and not say it, then you'd be humble. You'd be
How do
like,
you say you
oh,
have diamond balls
you can
without
give
saying
everybody
you have diamond
flowers,
balls?
man. You can just give everybody flowers, man, and just be like, "Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm just a humble. I'm just like this." And but you got a Rolex, so everybody knows you're just like, "Oh, he's actually like better than me," but he's just like, but that's so nice of him to pretend like he's not. Like I feel like this guy cares. And so like that there's a lot that goes into NFT. It's kind of it's like serious, right? Like this board ape, I think it was worth like over $1 million at one point, and which is totally deserved, by the way. Like it should be a fucking $100 million. I mean, fucking look at the
I
art,
mean,
man.
you
Look at that.
you
Just
saw the
zoom
one
in
that
on
was
it,
just
man.
sold at Christie's, right? Like that's where you
Yeah,
guys got to realize like shit is really gonna pop because
yeah.
we got
Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci. Fuck that. Like this is like Migwash,
dude Todd.
Migwasher. I think's the guy who did this. Like Migwasher is basically like Picasso. I mean, he made my ape. Like, and so meme coins, like, we don't have, there's no art. They're just like, well, that's serious. You got to be responsible for that. No, we're just gonna like go on Pump Fun and make a coin. And it's like, yeah, just chill out. It's gonna be nuclear war. Have fun. Don't just,
Yeah, definitely, bro. I mean, like you said, okay, maybe the last months I've more felt like walking around with a Casio than like a Rolex, but that's not the point. At the end, like you're saying, it's more, it's a kind of feeling the apes brought into the ecosystem, and to be honest, their main utility to say was also to be meme, to be at least like fun, to be exclusive, to be a club, to be a membership, to, I mean, the most people really joined to have community and network and hoped for a Bored Ape Yacht Club house at Miami Beach to retire with their crypto millions, yeah, they made. But at the end, I think they showed also that without any utility, with the demand, with the fun, with the meme of that project, they went to 100 ETH and to be demanded. At the end, the the evaluation to exactly this, like introducing ApeCoin, introducing staking, introducing a utility, etc., etc. That's maybe was the point where they failed at the end, and we saw it also in relation to the CryptoPunks, where Yuga has like not touched it, or at least till some weeks they didn't touch it, yeah, and they really stayed like a lot more valuable and stable as out of their community value and out of their, yeah, brand, I would say. The more utility and the more complex ApeCoin got and the ape ecosystem got, the more the meme and fun, the easy way was lost. And that's maybe where we know like it was more a financial product than with Blur and farming, and yeah, took a lot more interest of financial related people and not really of community and builders anymore. And still, it's for me the strongest brand. Like you said, if you appear somewhere, an Ape Fest, on other events, even if a Macy costs 1.5 ETH, everyone is just liking you. Everyone knows, oh, cool, he's in the club, or even asking you, oh, you just where's your ape? You own an ape, and even on 1 ETH or on 10 ETH, the guys in the club celebrate their apes. And there you see still the sentiment and their energy is in that community. And that's great to see over the years.
that's the ticket right there. It's about, it's a it's the PFP. It's like you have the ape, and like, I'm a shitty person in a lot of ways. I'm not a complete piece of shit, but like, like, you're probably a piece. Everybody here is a piece of shit in some way, and like, we're like, I'm a piece of shit, but then we can put on this PFP, and like, you go in, and they're like, legend, legend, and you're like, fuck, I'm a legend now. This is great. Like, I didn't have to like work on myself and go to a psychiatrist or something. I didn't have to go to the gym or like eat healthy or something. I just put on this PFP, and people are like, LFG, like, thank you, my brother. You do so much for the space. I'm like, really? I do a lot for the space. That's a lot. I don't know. Like, so what they mean is, like, I put a monkey picture as my PFP. That's doing a lot for the space. So it's like really easy. Like, I don't know why everybody's not doing this. Like, why would you have your picture or like some logo or something? Just get a fucking monkey, and everybody's gonna be like, I love you, and they'll like tag like a banana emoji. When anything you tweet, there'll be like a banana emoji with like the fire emoji, and you're like, that's really sweet. That's really nice of you, and you get a lot of them. And like GM, obviously, every morning you can wake up and get a flood of people just going GM, and sometimes it'll be like GM who dis, or like GM LFG. There's a few variations, but it's like, when you're feeling lonely, when you want to kill yourself, Like, it's just nice to know that there's people out there who care, mostly because you have a picture of a monkey as your picture.
Sounds hard, brother. Sounds a little bit hard, but a little bit funny. But yeah, I get your point. But I guess in case of you, it's because the people see your profile and the people see what you did and what you're doing and who you met. So a lot of people, I guess, a lot of people think that they have a benefit from it. And you represent the Board Ape Yacht Club with your ape as a person who made good steps in Hollywood. So I guess it's a win-win situation for both sides because you're more than just welcome at the club and your person is very well known, so you present your ape and you're showing that the club is unique and is luxury and is special to the people. So as I would say, if I would start to making movies, I would and animated movies by myself, I would say, okay, let me look what movies were out there and who made them, and I'm going to come to your profile and see, oh, he's an ape, and so I'm into NFTs too. So I would feel instantly connected to you without being connected to you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not dark unless you see it as dark. It's like, I love my ape. I am my ape, and my ape is me. I've tweeted that, and it's true. And but it's also true that the evolution of NFTs is like, Twitter had a lot of problems. You had, it was like a lot of like negativity, a lot of people like yelling at each other and stuff, and then someone had the brilliant, they were like, what is Twitter? What is it missing? Like, well, there's just, it's like really, negative, but it's not very douchebaggy. There's not enough douchebagginess in Twitter. And like, how can we make it? How can we add the douchebagginess to it? And they're like, I know, we can make cartoon pictures and sell them for $100,000. And I was like, fucking sign me up, bro. And I bought one, and I never sold it, even when it was over $1 million, because I believe in it. Because I'm a douchebag at heart. Like, I'm the kind of guy who will drive down the street in a convertible, very expensive car, and play old Britney Spears songs. And I wear like bright colored t-shirts and bright colored baseball caps and bright colored sweats and bright colored Nikes, and none of it matches. And you guys might think I'm joking, but I'm not joking. Like, because there is like, it's like when you see a problem, like, you can just complain about the problem, or you can contribute to the problem. You know what I mean? Those are the two solutions. I don't mean to laugh. It's very simple, very it's very like, it might sound like I'm joking, but I'm not joking. I actually do. I love, like, before I started on this space just now, I was listening to the full Kesha album. I'm not joking.
Yeah, but bro, I mean that's exactly a bit like I'm saying with that OG old spirit. Yeah, I mean I would do like the exactly same. I hope you're wearing your hat at least like always straight and not turn around in the back. That's always looking a bit like an idiot. But at the end, like it's like you're saying, we are still just 30,000 NFTs. Yeah, maybe like 50,000 holders or maybe less. So still, if you meet someone who owns an ape, it's one of a very very small group of people and it would stay forever like this because there are no more apes. Yeah, and it's the same like if you're running around, I would say like with if you're an anime fan, yeah, if you run around with Ghost in the Shell, yeah, or maybe with some old style Son Goku stuff or maybe some first edition Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, you're basically cool and you will be the next 20 and 30 years, you will be cool and OG. And the same it will stay with the apes forever. If they cost like $500 or 1,500 or 15,000, you will have like a status symbol which is the most known brand in the NFT crypto space, and it will stay that. Show me a guy who's running around on the conferences with his pudgy stuff. I never saw 10 people running around with their captain's NFT on their hoodies, yeah, or running on the beach party, yeah, with their, I don't know, cool cats stuff. These are maybe 2-3 people, and after they are hyped, then they are gone, yeah. But since years and everywhere, you see the ape community, and you see that are really builders who are interested also to use the brand, to use the IP. They identify still simply with the club and not with the value of ETH and the actual value of NFTs. Yeah, because you also don't find any brand who really uses their IP in real world solutions like the ApeCoin. If it's a burger restaurant, if it's merchandise, gin, vodka, beer, and other stuff, you simply have a strong community, and everyone is still like supporting the others, and give you a marketing network or give you every contact you need basically sometimes. And we are also like, in the movie industry active people who are making short movies, comics, NFT magazines. And at the end, the ApeCoin DAO is one of the main sponsors, of course, also of these solutions which are made by the community. So maybe just to make that small journey to the DAO, everyone who's interested in making solutions and has ideas and is active in the ApeCoin community or the ape community can simply try to raise funds there. It's really an easy process, like an old school forum from the 90s, where you simply post your idea in a really simple template, and just throw in like Makash, I want to make 100,000 bottles of gin and I need $200,000 of capital. Yeah. And at the end, the community is voting independently on your idea. And if you get the majority, 51%, you get the funds. Finish. If it's we've funded so many ideas from plushies to alcohol to games and to simply sponsor events like in Lisbon to make a good beach party because maybe we have some interesting sponsorship or something to give. Yeah. So really, I think the ApeCoin DAO actually for developers or people who are not familiar to raise funds over VC rounds, to travel over the world and speak in front of 50 people, make a presentation, give out your own equity of the company, of your idea to raise some funds. The ApeCoin DAO provides funds without you have to give any equity back or any revenue flow back to the DAO. So it's really a fund to support and develop community ideas. The only mission the ApeCoin DAO has is to give out these $300 million funds as fast as possible to the market and to the community to develop stuff. So really everyone who's motivated and is part of a group who's actually building
I wanna add one
a
thing to that.
product, they need funds.
I mean,
Yeah.
of all the communities too, like first off, Yuga's the only one that's $1 billion company. All right, like come on, numbers speak volume. Okay, numbers don't lie. All right. Another thing. Okay, there's more Docs members in the BAYC, Mutants, and the Yuga ecosystem.
Excuse me, it's BAYC, not BAYC.
All right, give me a second. I haven't smoked a bowl this morning. But yeah, I mean, like you got to look at a lot of like factors that exist in like the real business world, and like be real with yourself and look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, what am I doing with my life? And so like these are facts. These are like empirical numbers that you can't deny. Okay, so you have that fact, all right. And then so like what other groups isn't trying to just straight rug everybody and just remain anon? So you got Pudgy Penguins, right? I wonder why they flipped and are competing with BAYC, BAYC, Macy, whatever you want to call it. Fucking apes up, fucking yeah. Much respect to Luca and all
because
of them.
people are into fat Asians lately.
I know,
that's
and they're
why.
also
and penguins look like Kim Jong Un.
they're
So
also in denial that there might
it's a
be other
fetish thing.
collections out there that are just trying to like cull the masses and make you dumber and think that only autistic meta matters, right? Like, you know, only buy this, like only invest retarded, like, you know, you lose your money, who cares? You know, I think Yuga cares more than a lot of other collections. But ultimately, so you got Yuga, you know, Pudgy Penguins. Lucas saw opportunity, paid $2 million. He was like, I'm going to put my own skin in the game and really get dirty with that community. And he's done a great job with it. And he's really focused on going viral on TikTok and Instagram, outside platforms other than like this echo chamber we live in. That's smart. You know, he's really smart. And then who else? Who else is on that list? Of like, you know, members of this society. I mean, like, you have a couple different competing, you know, collections, and just because you have a higher floor doesn't mean that necessarily you're a more quality community. But I would ultimately, if you're like trying to like be serious about this industry, like I'll always, you know, like, I think people just got away from the ethos of Yuga during the bear market. The bear market was tough. You know, we grinded that shit out, but the people that are standing, they're either standing because it's a real company and a real opportunity, or they're just like really good ruggers, right? And they're just like rugging people left and right. So, you know, it's kind of like that division right now. And ultimately, it is hard to get entry as a warped ape or a mutant, you know, depending on, you know, where and what you're doing with the world. And free money just sounds easy to people, but ultimately you're faced with two choices in life. You be a positive member of society or a negative, right? I'm going to be a positive, right? But that's why I was able to maintain good rapport with these ecosystems, you know? There's a lot of people that are anon. They think they're cool with their voice changers and I'm a hacker and all this crap. Well, guess what? No code solutions are here. So you're
I
not so
love those
special anymore.
guys.
Huh? What's up?
I was just saying I love those guys.
But yeah, I mean, numbers don't lie. Proof is in the pudding. I would keep your eyes on ecosystems that are actually here to build um, legitimately into the Web3, you know, actual, like the real technologies, you know, the DPIN, the ZK knowledge, you know, no code solutions. All of those are like real applicants for me to be like supporting. And that's the 8 coin DAO. That whole ecosystem right there is like perfectly healthy for this. No matter if people FUD it or whatever, it doesn't matter. The quality of the individuals speak louder than people's FUD, and FUD only brings more attention. So bring it on.
Yes, yes, yes. There should be no knowledge, zero knowledge. That's it. That's what it's about. Too much knowledge. Get rid of it. Pump fun. Don't need any knowledge. Zero knowledge. Zero knowledge proof.
There was a coin
You don't
yesterday
have
that
like
hit
it's
a
like
billion.
math without numbers, man. It's math
Bro.
without numbers. Zero fucking knowledge, bro. Like, you're not understanding. It's zero knowledge. You get zero knowledge. You come with zero knowledge, and you get flowers. Doesn't matter about money because it's all about fame. Everybody's concentrated on the money. It's about fame, and it's about zero knowledge. You have to have zero knowledge music and zero knowledge animation, and everything needs to be zero knowledge. Like, I was looking for music for my cartoon I'm working on. I was like, is this going to be like Britney? Is it going to be like Becky G? Is it going to be like Ashley Tisdale when she like got into music for a while? Hillary Duff, wake up on a Saturday night. You know, like all like the best stuff ever. I used to date
Ashley Tisdale.
Ashley Tisdale's a boss, bro. Ashley Tisdale came into my studio and she fucking like took it over. And there's like engineers and like it's Ashley Tisdale's a boss.
She auditioned for the movie we were doing casting for, Ted. You know, the Mark Wahlberg and Seth MacFarlane. So, yeah, Ashley. She's cool.
Yeah, I mean, come on, like to be honest, okay, Luca, great. Like you asked, like who's comparable? Maybe like we said, maybe meme coin, yeah, or maybe a 9gag or well or stuff. But the apes were there before Web3 came in, before all the gaming stuff came in, and we will survive the time where Web3 and gaming was the main driver, because we have this brand value. I can just repeat it because I see it also like in Mochaverse. which is strongly related to Yuga, Animoca brands, and also the ApeCoin DAO. They are the biggest voter and delegation in the ApeCoin DAO with over 6 million ApeCoin. And of course, they also have an own big bag of ApeCoin as one of the founders of the ApeCoin DAO. I mean, Yatsui was one of the special council founder members. And of course, they have a lot of influence there. And that maybe makes also the difference to a lot of other DAOs, that they have the support of Yuga on the one side, and on the funny relation on the other side, Animoca brands, yeah, which is of course the biggest Web3 gaming company there is, with over 100 different games and over 400 subsidiary companies. But I see it, like I said, on Mochaverse and other collections. The apes work as a brand, like worldwide. They work in the US, they work in Europe, they work in Asia, because it's also like, it's simply an ape. Like every human can make relation to apes by himself, just because out of the animal it is. Yeah. But every other thing which is out there is an anime picture, a penguin picture, or some other stuff. The apes, out of the nature, have one of the simply strongest basement of the brand which is out there in the NFT space. And I don't see any other collection which is worldwide that's successful. Even the penguins,
It's
mainly the US, more
it,
covers,
it-
mainly in Asia.
it's
So
because
they're
they need
really,
a thought revolution, man. I'm with you. I'm with you. It's a thought revolution. Like people are trying to like go for like the high quality, like like when I went to when you travel outside the country, right? There's certain things you can't get like in third world countries, and you're like, I really want like some Italian food. As a man who grew up in California, used to what I want. And like, there's always someone, like in Asia, and they're like, I want to like take you to a good Italian restaurant, best spaghetti on earth. And I'm like, no, that's not what I want. And they're like, oh, well, we have another one. And I'm like, not shitty enough. This is not shitty enough. And they're like, well, what are you looking for? I'm like, and I show them a picture of Chef Boyardee SpaghettiOs. And they're like, oh, okay. And they're like, so this is better? I'm like, no, it's not better. It's not better. What are you, stupid? It's in a can. It's like, but that's what I want because I love SpaghettiOs. That's who I am. I was making music and like, do I want Britney? Do I want Becky G or anything? And someone's like, you should put Dua Lipa in there, because like more popular. Like I was, but it's like I was like, it's too dark. It's too serious. Like she's too much of like an artist. Like I don't want to like put songs that'll like make me like want to kill myself. Like actually, no, that was Phoebe Bridgers. Phoebe Bridgers, like she's like super hot girl dresses like a man and talks about killing yourself. I was like, nah, that's not it. So like this beach party you're talking about, I was like, I could get on board with that. Like we got to have all music, no Phoebe Bridgers, no Dua Lipa, no high class spaghetti like through like DoorDash. Like you have to like cans of SpaghettiOs, everybody wearing bright colored sweats, t-shirts, Nikes, hat. If you can pull off the sideways hat, do it. I can't, but if you can, that's awesome. And that's the revolution of the mind. It's letting go. It's letting go. When you get your ape, you'll get it. So buy an ape and you'll be retarded like me and you'll be able to be happy.
yeah, it's still like, like you said, penguins, Luca, all fine, but sorry, at the end, okay, fun. Selling some plushies at Walmart for $10, and after 2 weeks they were already in sale for $5, and actually you find them for $1. We are still releasing, or we have released like corporations with Adidas, with Gucci, actually making Formula One, yeah, and other stuff. Snoop Dogg is still running his ape and his cheetah for his products, actually big cooperation with Skechers and everything. So it's still, you see, after years, and no one of these guys care what the floor of his ape is actually, or was, or will be. Yeah, they just talented to use the brand, the exposure you can create if you do it right. and you still can be successful over years with that.
I don't care about the floor. I don't care that my ape was worth $1.37 million and I didn't sell it. I don't care. I didn't count. I mean, I didn't count lately. I maybe have counted a couple times. I don't care that it's worth like, I could trade it for some chicken McNuggets now, but it doesn't matter because I love my ape and my ape loves me. It's a picture. It can't actually love me, but I feel like he loves me. If he could, he would. And plus, he's better than like all the other ape, like a lot of other. There's others. There's some people say the trippy apes are better, because they were like more money, the gold fur or whatever. But honestly, like my ape is like one of the douchiest ones in the space. Like out of all of them, like that's one of the most pretentious apes. He's probably the most obnoxious, and that's what I want. I'm like that's what I'm trying to put out there to spread this revolution of thought. Because, and you think I'm joking, but I'm not. Once you accept that, once I say the same thing about corporate America, they're like everything should be free and like everybody have their own like blah blah. Like, do you really want to go to a gym that is like in someone's garage, like some decentralized gym where they like give you liquid death because that's the only like corporate, and that's corporation, so they got that like
Bro, you know
but
that
or
they
do you want to go to
yo
Equinox?
nobody
Do you want to go to
nobody
Equinox where
realizes.
it's
Bro,
clean
hold
and
up, hold up, hold up.
beautiful?
You just said something. Nobody realizes that Liquid Death, they literally put curses on their labeling. Like they look up like medieval like fucking like voodoo weird shit. Like bro, like there's just like Dr. Bromers is putting like scripture in there, and like this company's like subtly, and it's like, oh, just buy it's I don't know, just Liquid Death.
But what
Holy
I
shit.
love about Liquid Death is like you get all dressed up and you get an Uber Black, and like you're usually like at an event, like you could be in like Boston or something for an event, and so you're paying for a fancy hotel room, you pay for the flight out there, you get all dressed up and you tell everybody, all right, there's going to be like this big party, and you go there and they give you water. Like I think that's amazing. Like you get to a party
Yeah,
and there's
but there's
open
got to
bar,
be
but
a,
they just have
a
water.
better way than like scripture from like the
No,
satanic
it's good though. It's
like the satanic Bible
it's
curse
healthy. They
around your
just give
water.
you water.
No,
Like
I'm not co-signing that. Um,
they care about you. They care about you by not giving you anything of any value. They're just like, we're gonna give you water and it's gonna be in a can, and that's it. And like, I love that. I can get on board with that. I don't like the satanic stuff. I'm a Christian, so I'm not into that. Jesus doesn't like that either. But I like the idea of selling nothing because it's awesome.
I mean, nine times like back in 2004, five. I worked with a company called Pods, portable oxygen device. We were literally selling oxygen bottles of it, and it's kind of crazy. But anything above like a 13% purity of oxygen is actually considered like medical, and like when you deliver higher oxygen to your blood, you heal faster. But we killed it in all the ski towns and ski chalets, but people aren't going to believe it. Eventually bottles of air are going to be legitimately sold and pushed down your throat. So yeah, I mean, like I get that. I wanted to cut down like a tiny little mini kind of roll of toilet paper and just market it as like like animals. Like I'm just saying, like usually the dumber the product and the more you break it down, the less it costs. People want to pay more just with the fancy label on it. 100%.
Well, the
But
alternative, the alternative is being a moderately attractive, um, early 20s female. She's hot, and and like make yourself as ugly as possible and dress like a man and look sad and lay on the floor and go, "Oh, life sucks." And then, like that's the other solution. That's Phoebe Bridgers, by the way. So like you can either do what I'm saying, this revolution, or you can go do that. Those are the two choices. There's no like in between. You can watch Netflix or Disney Channel. Disney Channel has like 200, there's 200 celebration of people of color. They're all super boring movies, but they're doing something good. They're doing something good. Or you can take a Vicodin and don't take a Vicodin. I'm just kidding about that. But just listen to Kesha, listen to Britney, and eat SpaghettiOs. Like those are the two choices. Those are the two choices. It's like Republican, Democrat. I'm not sure which one's which. Is the Republicans the SpaghettiOs or is the Democrats? I'm not sure, but it doesn't matter because there are only two choices. The world is binary. You either eat SpaghettiOs or you don't.
So is this the opinion for today, my brother? We come to about yeah, about almost 90 minutes of space. It was an honor to have you also. Let's come to a slowly end for today. And it showed today what we are able to do in Web3 and to have a free speech opinion. So each and everyone can have his own opinion to each and every topic. So it's an honor to have you guys up on stage and to talk about everything that's related to cryptocurrency, to Web3, to NFTs, and I mean to Hollywood. And we focus today, I would say, on the celebrity point and the point of what celebrities bring to the space. Because I mean, if we look back, we saw a lot of, I mean, a lot of. When I look into my in Sergeant's, I speak from the Sergeant's point of view, into my timeline, I can see a lot of Jason Derulo content, who's trying to bring up his project, and I see a lot of Andrew Tate content and yeah, who's also trying to push the daddy coin. So, but without being polite in any kind of this direction, I would say it was a nice discussion for today. It was an honor to have you, and I guess we will figure out something in DMs to make this a comeback and to make another space happen with a specific team about it. Maybe David is able to bring Joe up on stage for us next time. So maybe I don't know. Mika, maybe you have a celeb friend who owns an ape too or wants to ape into the community or jump into Web3. So maybe you can bring him up too, and we can have a talk afterwards. And yeah, James, it was an honor to have you on stage too to talk about your project, what you're doing, and don't forget, guys, people in the audience, don't forget to follow the speakers, to follow us, and to tune in for the next episode, and to listen and to tell your friends to listen to the recording afterwards. So it was an honor to have you all today. And if you want to have any last words, please, the stage is yours now.
If you guys don't follow me, I'm gonna kill myself.
No, just thank you for organizing that, for taking your time, the motivation to bring us all together up. That's also like, not totally normal to engage. And like you said, maybe to my last words on celebrities, I think we have also Web3 celebrities. We don't should like forget. I just remember Trevor from the Pizza Ninjas, like Boredom AC, and like just funny
You
to
know, it's
see like
funny.
also
The
builders
two,
from other
like
spaces.
the two that you meant, 100%. Like Trevor, and that's what's crazy. Trevor actually, like, we troll with what's it called? It's fun. We troll with Joe's account, and people love it. And that's where, like, people got to get with the times and understand that these coins are like for the fans of those people, and the belief in that meta that they're pushing, right? And so, and in the celeb or the individual actually interacting with their platform, coming through and saying hi, hey, I appreciate you're holding one of my commemorative tokens, like, fucking, and it's always going to be based on demand of that asset, which pushes the price. So the price don't really matter. What matters is the meta. And we get away from like that ethos. And 1111 drilled into me. He's like, Dave, your memes are fucking shit, man. And it's because just like I have to unlearn the bad behaviors of like the current trends and kind of head back to the original meta if we want to get to those original all-time highs, baby. Let's go. Fucking appreciate you, Synergy. I fucking will definitely be back. And this crazy kooky ape's gonna be riding with me for a minute.
So thanks for the nice discussion. Thanks for the nice talks. And as you mentioned, the guys, please come in Sergeants or in our DMs, and we will figure out the next space with them and with you guys. And yeah, it was an honor to have you today. So we filled 90 minutes for now, and it was an honor. See you in the next episode. Have a nice evening, morning, or day, guys, no matter where you are in the world at the moment. And it was an honor to have you all. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening, day, or night.
Thank you, Sergeant.
commitments on prudent public financial management, right? But at the end of the day, they are commitments. And it's really for the government to take ownership and implement those commitments.
Gotcha. I mean, well said. I hear you. Just since you're talking papers, I did find a paper in Nigeria. It's called The Adjustment of Nigeria's Selected Macroeconomic Variables to the IMF Conditional. This is a paper from 1986 till 2016. It's done by the University of Nnamdi University in Oka by Professor Amaka Chinelo and WC Okolo. Them did it. Look at their findings. IMF conditionality has no significant effect on GDP of Nigeria. IMF conditionality has no significant effect on gross capital formation, and the IMF has conditionality has no significant effect on national savings or national economy. So in effect,
These are Nigeria has only had 5 IMF programs. So
but EMI thing, we do that policy support instrument thingy. Why we run the economy? We're trying to increase VAT, remove subsidies. That's still in line with that whole PSI framework that IMF sort of puts.
yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm just making the point that in the end, they pay what they have on paper, and then what Nigeria is practicing. Sometimes there's a diversion, and again, I think it's just because of the total gap in infrastructure. Because these guys, like I said at the very beginning, they don't assume that a country as big, as diverse, as rich as Nigeria would only move food by road, would only grow food by rainfall, and maybe, for instance, has no power supply that is powered by generators. They don't assume these things would be real, that Nigeria surely would have moved on and generated power. It's amazing. If you think about it, well, we live in Nigeria, we're used to it. But we run our power with generators. You have to leave Nigeria for a long period of time to understand that Nigeria is not a functional economy. You can't run an economy with generators. But in Nigeria, it's standard practice. Once a building is being built, generator big, 4 giant generators for every institution. The presidency, NEPA, Ekeda distribution, everybody has a generator in Nigeria. Everybody. You can't run an economy.
Yes, that makes sense. But goes back to the point I made that IMF financing is to enable a country solve maladjustments in its balance of payments.
Alone. Oh, God.
Yes.
Well taken, Kenneth.
That
Thank
is the only purpose of IMF financing.
you. Okay, which is okay. Well taken, point well taken. Let's get Mohammed in here. Mohammed N. I don't know if I have your real name, but Mohammed N. You've got the floor, sir. Please go ahead. Kenneth, those comments very, very well taken. Go ahead, Mohammed. Mohammed, you are speaking, but I'm not hearing you. So let me move to Sam Vivo. Sam Vivo, Mohammed, if you get that up, just put your hand up and I'll add you back in. Sam Vivo, you've got the floor. Okay, Mohammed, go for it. If you can speak, go for it. I couldn't hear you. Still can't hear you. All right, let's get, is it Vera Matic Media?
Viralmatic Media. Good evening,
All right,
sir.
how you doing?
Yes, sir. Okay, what I have to say is this. I can't completely blame IMF and World Bank, but in a way I can still blame them. This is why. Blaming the IMF is like seeing a gambler and blaming the betting company for
The
his
gambler.
addiction. You understand? The gambler has the responsibility of betting responsibly.
Yeah.
So in that case, I can't completely blame IMF. But the question is this: who is to gain from the downfall of those that are borrowing the money, which is mostly the third and the fourth world countries? Who are those to blame? Who are those behind the IMF and World Bank? Who are the ones in control? You understand? So we need to look at the benefactors of these rules that are being placed onto the countries that borrow a lot of money. So when we look at that, we'll be able to understand the situation better. So for the solution, I think the solution is on both the people and the leaders. Because whenever I talk to average Nigerians and I kind of see the way they rationalize the kind of leaders that they put into position, I know that we are not there yet. We are not there yet because an average Nigerian will first consider religion and ethnicity before anything else. They don't even look at competence. They look at the religion and ethnicity, then the competence comes after. The moment we get to a point where we can look away from religion and ethnicity, things will start to change and people will start to make the right decisions to putting the right people into power who won't be addicts or gamblers, but people that will enter there and change the system into a system where we won't be dependent on exports, foreign aids, borrowing, and all those stuffs. Thank you.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
I
I mean,
mean, sorry, if I can make one quick clarification here.
Okay.
If you say gamblers, almost all low income countries who are eligible for IDA financing get
Yeah.
concessional financing from the IMF. So the IMF makes no money from them.
so I
So
think
so you can't say that, the
You,
more
you
loans
don't
they
you
take,
don't get my
the
point.
more
My
the more
point
loans
is
they take, the
okay.
more money the IMF makes. It's the opposite is true. Financing them is a burden.
because you've got to go back to why the IMF is created. It's not really about the money. The IMF was created because of the First World War issue, Second World War issue, where you had a post Germany that had high inflation, that then led to dysfunctional political systems that led to the Third Reich, right? So
Yeah.
what they used to say, we want to stop countries doing arbitrary devaluations
Exactly.
in the economy. So for them, it's like if we can come in at the nations that have balance of payment issues and solve it there, then we have less Sri Lankas, less Somali.
Exactly.
What?
The lower the risk for competitive devaluations.
Mhm, yeah, exactly. Which means that Nigeria, for instance, could say because we don't have any money, we're going to devalue the naira to 10,000 to one because we want to sell more cocoa. That would
Exactly.
foreigners will rush to Nigeria to buy cocoa from Nigeria, not to Cote d'Ivoire or Ghana, because it's cheaper in Nigeria. But what will then occur is that the economy in Nigeria will crash so much that people in Nigeria will rise up, then there will be crisis, then they'll have to come and send a six split here, which will cost more money. So that's what the IMF is trying to do. But because it's like when you have malaria, you take chloroquine. Chloroquine is very, very bitter, but you have malaria. That's, I think, just the way you can explain that, what they're doing. All right,
All right.
Vera.
Thank you.
Yeah, Vera, hi. Okay. St. Augustine. Hey, guys, we've got about 30 minutes to go to space, right? Great topic. I've learned a lot. Thanks, guys, for being here. About 30 minutes. So we'll take all the comments, get all our views in, learn. That's what we do here. St. Augustine, you've got the floor. Go for it. Vera, thank you so much.
Good evening, and to all the distinguished persons here. I've actually gotten a lot of good information from everybody. I'll just make this short because
Uh,
of time. Two things I want to say. The IMF is a global body. They have their role to play. They will not force you to take loans. So, as a country, you go to them, they will give you their conditions, just like the normal banks will have in Nigeria. What you do with the money, if you're right thinking government, is your own cup of tea. They are not there to babysit you. The conditions that come with those loans are normal. Just like banks in Nigeria, when they want to borrow to you, they give you their conditions. You don't have to take this money. Second, I'm sure Argentina today are also borrowing from the IMF. We've seen how the man that went in there last year, about the same time our guy entered, has performed, and how the inflation figures have turned around. So basically, it comes down to how you manage your resources. In times of crisis, financial crisis like this, it's common sense. You downsize, you cut costs. So I don't get it why a country like Kenya, for instance, will pay its MPs so much when they are borrowers. Make it make sense to me.
no, can
I
make
think
sense.
it all boils down to the basic thing you keep saying. We'll learn economics together. This is not rocket science. I mean, people need to lead well. If they lead well, yes, you can come as a government and things are bad. it doesn't make any sense for me to start living luxuriously and buying jeeps and buying planes and so on in the lean period. Of course, if you manage your economy well and it turns around, you can splurge a bit. Nobody will cry at you. You see, Kenya are doing what they are doing because they know that they are the ones that will service those loans in the future.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know. At the end of the day, it always boils down to what I always try to say: leadership.
Yeah.
I thank you for the
Governments don't pay back loans. People pay back loans.
precisely,
So if the government,
exactly.
yeah, Argentina is the biggest borrower from the IMF, 31 billion. That's what Argentina has borrowed. But they got there. You see, their president is cutting. I mean, you saw him on that jet. He was flying commercial to go see his girlfriend. People said, "Oh, it's
Yeah, sure.
but is the way he's communicating that. Listen, I'm going to cut costs personally." So in
Yeah.
Nigeria, we have the same inflation, but we are buying a new private jet. The contrast could not be stronger. Argentina has inflation that, the guy is flying commercial on a private visit. But Nigeria, we're also buying presidential. We don't need a new presidential jet. If the jet has is parked, I think they should celebrate. Oh, we're not going to spend on this jet. Take the money and put it into student loan and then move on.
Let me help us there. This jet issue. Why not? They have about 10 of those planes. Sell eight. Use the money from those eight. Add a little few naira. Buy one for the man to fly about. Let's have peace. I mean, these things are not rocket science.
Big
I'm
one that
tired.
can continental. The rest, all these small private jets that can go in Africa. But
Yeah,
and
exactly.
we have to like, it's too much. Or convert everything to an airline and then put it commercial in Nigeria. The man wants to fly, he takes his plane and flies. But when it's not flying, he should do Lagos to Abuja, make revenues for the nation. That's what I think. You should just give it to Airpeace or whoever to run. When the man wants to fly, he'll call his plane back, he'll fly, come back, pay Airpeace will pay tax. We move on. Let's just move on with this jet thing and all that. Abdul Hassan Momraz, how are you, sir? Welcome to the party. Sir Augustine, appreciate you.
I'm doing good.
Abdul, where you
Thank
come?
you.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you very loud.
Yeah, mine's contribution on the topic is the IMF helping or hurting an African continent. Eh? Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
I believe the African continent is a bottom billion continent that sit on natural resource that if it's tapped and well managed, that we can prosper and get a value for our resource without dependence on other nation. The greatest challenge that we have is a policy reconstruction. We need to have policies that impact on life and policies that change the fortune of Africans since we are bottom billion continent. That's my take.
I'm not sure I got you.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm not sure I got that clearly. Could you say that again, sir? I'm not sure if I got that.
What I'm trying to explain is that in the African continent,
Mm-hmm.
we are bottom billion continent, a continent that has massive resources that sit that if tapped well, we can be prosperous continent.
Mm.
That's what I mean. It's
I
only
agree.
policy that
So you're saying that there's no need to borrow if we simply had got our house in order and we're exporting, we won't have all this, we won't be broke. And because we're not broke, we
yes,
completely agree.
yeah, that's what
Com-
I mean.
yeah,
Thank
completely
you,
agree.
thank you for giving me an opportunity.
You're welcome. Bro, Nero, you've got the floor. Go ahead and shoot.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Kalu. Thank you for the opportunity here. I've listened to a couple of speakers, and I believe I've heard multiple sides of this discussion. For me personally, the IMF cannot be seen to be. Sorry, please, can you hear me now?
Mohammed, yes, but once he's speaking, you can.
All right, thank you.
Please go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So for me, the IMF cannot be seen to be the problem. No, it's just a lazy man's way of doing things. You going to someone to get ask a loan is based on the fact that you require the financial assistance at that moment. So if that person gives you the loan with conditions, it is left up to you to decide to accept or reject. You cannot accept loans based on certain specified conditions, then come back afterwards and say the conditions are a problem to me. So we should just drop that discussion. The IMF is nobody's problem. I've also listened to multiple speakers talk about our leaders being the problem and having leaders that do not understand statecraft. Yeah, so I would like us to focus a bit on that. Um, According to the Constitution of Nigeria and most constitutions around the world, the security and welfare of the people should be the primary responsibility of government. So, if you have a situation where the country is unsafe, people cannot move around freely, people cannot feed, there is hardship, then the government has failed. So, if we're going to be looking for the problem, we already know the problem. The problem is the government or successive governments. We're not going to say we want to blame the current government because what we have currently is just a resultant of several years of mismanagement. So the problem has been leadership all this while. So we all know the problem, and I believe it's quite easy to tell the solution. A change in political ideology or a change in political leadership. I wouldn't want to make this space too political, but we should just be clear with ourselves. If we want to get things done right, we all have to get involved, like actively involved, and determine political outcomes. You need to get the right people in place. The laws are there, the economic laws, the policies are there. If you go to the presidential archives, you have lots of policy ideas that have been drafted. No, we just need people competent and willing to execute these policies. We need people competent and willing to
All right.
effect economic laws. So we shouldn't be dragging the discussion from multiple sides. The solution is simple: get
Gotcha.
the right leaders,
All
and
right.
we're out of it. Thank you.
You want Mohammed? You've got the floor.
Okay, thank you. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Okay,
Where are you calling from?
yeah, yeah, I'm calling from New Delhi, India.
Okay.
Thank you for the opportunity, and I've been following the space. Very wonderful and very insightful. I just have two things to share because of time. I think the IMF, as it is, or any other corporation that are, assisting countries, or rather in the, developmental side of things, shouldn't be blamed. The first thing is for any country, like, every company should have a decisive framework. First of all, the strategy of why we're taking the loan, and, the appropriate channels to, put this loan to. Secondly, is the issue of representation. You cannot have people representing you to, access these loans or whatever. And number one, maybe their integrity is to put into question, and secondly, also the, competence. uh, uh, I've read in a book where, it was clearly stating that, for organizations like IMF and so on in Africa, there is this question of, whether, they're taking advantage of the African countries and so on. But when you go to the Asian side of the world, for example, I've, stayed in China and all, they have a system of meticulously, reviewing whatever it is that is put into the table to them. For example, for corporations like IMF and so on, whenever they want to, access, funds, or, loan, or whatever you might call it, they try to negotiate and make sure that they review the whole terms of, the loan or the fund they're trying to access, to make sure that it aligns with the, framework or the policy of their own country. And they sit on the negotiation table to discuss with the IMF or whichever corporation it is that this is what we are trying to achieve and this is what's there in your document. And from there, they can carry it to, what best interests their country. At the end of the day, IMF, like any other, corporation also have their own interest. They are not a charity organization, you know. So this is the second thing. And then thirdly, a lot of the people that have spoken about this, is that, when you're drowning inside the water and someone offers you, a helping hand to draw you out, sometimes, all you have to do is grab the hand, and then after coming out, you try to, save yourself from not drowning again. But I think here is where, a lot of the African countries don't learn from their previous mistakes. Thank you very much, and this is all I have to say for now.
Hello, Mr. Carlo. Good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello, hi, Mr. Kenneth. I can hear you, but I cannot hear any other person. Can you hear me, please? Hello,
We can hear you.
hello.
We can hear you. I believe we can hear you.
Hello, Mr. Carlo.
Okay.
Hello.
I believe it's off.
I'm here. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, my mic was muted. Please go ahead, Mr. Ike.
Okay, good evening. Please, I'll be very quick. I've listened to the conversation so far. I want to thank you for putting this together. It has been very enriching and educative. There are just 3 points. There are 3 points I want to drop. The reason why the IMF is often scapegoated, if I may. First is their insistence on liberalization, their insistence on privatization, and their insistence on um, balance, fiscal balance,
Mm-hmm.
which is it. They've been touched. Speakers have touched on them, and just like it has been said, every nation borrows. There's no nation that doesn't have need for borrowing. But when you go to borrow, um, um, there's a book, Discontent, Globalization and its Discontents. It was outlined there that when you go to borrow, the IMF will insist that you sign to um, liberalization, privatization, and austerity. And these things often they turn out very bad for countries. So most of the time, this is why the IMF, I I will subscribe to the argument that they don't end up helping African countries, because at the end of the day we need to borrow, and most of the time we have balance of payments problems because the industrial structure and the productivity is low. So we end up going to them to borrow, and when we go to borrow, they don't the conditionalities they attach, they don't help our economies, to move in the right direction. So I think they have a part of the blame, and the leadership, the structure of leadership and the quality of leadership we have in our countries also will take a part of it. Thank you.
Well said. I mean, the people have argued the conditionalities are basically reforms that you have to get done so you can come back to the pathway of liquidity and creating revenues, not just to pay back the IMF, but to pay back your own external creditors. I think that's valid. If you are broke, it's because you overspent, or your reforms your structure was stifling your ability to generate wealth. I think IMF wants to unplug and unblock that stifleness, so that you can make money. So yeah, I guess it is what it is. Ibom, you've got the floor. Go ahead, Ibom. Rounding down, we're gonna about say it about 10 minutes to go, guys. Ibom, you've got the floor. Then we're gonna take it. Ibom going once, Ibom going twice. Uch, is that Uch? Invincible _ Uche.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Carlo. It's
Hey, how you?
actually Arch.
Oh,
Can you
sure.
hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, bro.
Okay, good evening, everyone on the space. Yes, I actually came up with regards to the topic. I won't blame IMF.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I will not blame IMF with regards to the problems in Africa because
I
of course it is as a result of
Can you hear me?
the
Can you
mismanagement
hold
of
on?
our resources. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I just told you to hold on. Go ahead.
Okay, it is as a result of the mismanagement of our resources that makes us to go to IMF cap in hand, of course. And by the time we get to IMF, they would automatically become the savior, and they will set out those conditions, and African countries will have to abide by them. But yet again, speaking of loans collected by African countries, you would want to ask what those loans are used for. You would want to ask what those loans are used for. And Nigeria is a case in point. You could see the financial recklessness by public office holders. Of course, we would want to blame IMF, and yet Nigerians can't afford milk, and they go ahead to buy they make a proposition to buy a presidential jet and spend 21 billion to house just one man. That's the vice president, and several other financial recklessness on ground. And you would want to also blame IMF for the recent news I'm seeing now on the timeline, where our debt to GDP ratio has crossed over 50% for the first time. All of this put in place really, and of course, you would not want to blame IMF when you have several leakages in things that should earn you earnings in forex earnings. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You got about a minute
Yeah.
to go.
Okay, okay, and yet again, I would want to harp on something because I heard someone said that the person that came up earlier saying something about the Kenyan youth with the way they went out to protest and that taxation grows economy, and I was shocked to hear that, and also tying that to politicians and politics is similar to having a career as a medical doctor. And when you hear such statements and you would say leadership is our problem, but yet again followership also becomes a major problem when you hear such opinions by followers on the space. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Excellent, guys. Let's get two more, then we'll just run out of space. We've been here for 3 hours. Appreciate everyone's willing to speak. We've got Tito. Tito, you've got the floor. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Kalu. Hi, everybody. I mean, it's a huge pleasure and privilege to be able to speak to you today, Kalu. Mine is a solution. I think the way forward, we tend to look so much at bilateral lending, direct lending. There is no country that can survive without lending. Let's establish that.
Yeah.
But my suggestion is we should look more towards the export agency. I personally am one of the investment banks. I cover Sub-Saharan Africa, Export Agency Finance, and basically I cover 49 countries. And I'll tell you, with all the ECAs, Export Credit Agencies that I work with, aside the likes of the multilaterals, the AFDBs, the ADF, and TDB in East Africa, we don't have any strong one within West Africa that is owned by West African countries. And the same thing goes for export credit agencies. What we see across Africa is the likes of UKEF, the French one, BPI, the Canadian one, EDC. We don't see homegrown ECA sort of. So the idea is, this is my suggestion. We can't survive on our own, no matter how much we want to deceive ourselves. As a people like you, Kalu, have strong outreach. You can reach out to your friends in the private sector and let them look for people who can pool funds, because that's the only way you can bring in financing, infrastructural development, and stuff that will help the people move in the direction they're trying to move. So let's look in that direction. Open to further conversations in the future. I mean, because I equally on the side, I'm doing a few studies on regional integration, and I can tell you for sure that that's the way to go as Africans. We should look beyond just the Nigerian story. We all have the same sort of difficulties across West Africa and indeed across Africa. So we should be looking at an integration that is more holistic, and pool resources. Africa as a whole does 5% of trade, global trade, yet the DG of the World Trade Organization is Nigeria. So let's look more in that direction. And I mean, I'm counting on people like you to make that happen. Thank you.
The private capital follows government policy, more or less. So if the government
Yeah.
policy that there's rule of law, there's protection of patents, inflation rate is low, there's infrastructure, then private capital flows in. So the point again I'm trying to make is that there has to be that push by the government to say we want to attract
Yeah.
capital to come into the country, right? And that
Yeah.
along with the depreciation of the naira to make it quote unquote cheaper for foreign
Agreed.
to have more impact. They need to do
Yeah,
more.
but Kalu, yeah, I agree there, and not to disagree with what you're saying, but I'm saying the push also comes from us in the sense that we shouldn't be looking at Nigeria alone. Nigeria is good, but I mean, let's see how we can push the private sector from other countries to try and make this happen. We have the AFCFTA, the guys that are really doing a great job, and the Secretary General is pretty decent in terms of efforts. People like this can help us mount pressure on policymakers, and then I mean, look at the story of the Schengen Eurozone. I think we can achieve much more with collaboration. Let's not look at Nigeria alone as a case study. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I don't understand
It's Africa. Yeah, you understand my point here.
what brothers look at. What country should we look at?
Sorry.
What country should we look at?
Uh, Definitely. Within West Africa, I would advise Cote d'Ivoire. I worked in Cote d'Ivoire for a while. I'll tell you, Cote d'Ivoire is one of the fastest rising. We should be looking at Senegal. Senegal has attracted a lot of UKEF investments. I can tell you for sure this year, I'm aware of about $4 to $6 billion that has been closed as deals over there. A lot more to be done.
I'm saying
This is in West Africa.
Nigeria should do better. We were in how much was we were doing 7% GDP growth
Yeah,
in 2003.
yeah, yeah,
We're bringing in Nigeria has been the only sub-Saharan African nation.
yeah,
JP Morgan Bond Index. We were there. We won back.
yeah. But
And
I'll tell you, Carlo. At the same time, we seem not to smell the roses. We're losing the market to the likes of Tanzania,
not losing.
Kenya, and
We've,
Uganda.
we've lost the market. Not losing.
Yeah, those. I mean, I was trying to put it nicely, but those guys, you may not know, but those guys, and from my little vantage position, I can tell you, I see every financing going down to places as I'm not belittle them, but as little as Zambia. And everyone, when you put Nigeria on the table, everyone's like, no, this doesn't work. But my point is, I think we should be pushing. The policymakers won't do it for us. You and I know that. Let's smell the coffee. We should be pushing for private integration within Africa.
God,
Let's try and see the guys we can talk to, and then see how we can pull these guys and collectively make it happen.
I
They
don't
will make it.
I don't want to be a
Sorry.
market, but
Yeah.
we go on the road from Nigeria to Togo or Benin, just on the border. Nigeria's side,
Yeah. I've probably done that trip like 10 times. Yeah, I know.
the Benin side has no checkpoints. The Nigeria
Yeah.
bad, the Benin roads are good. So in the end, we have
Yeah.
the best policies, but someone actually has to go do his job. We
Yeah.
shouldn't have checkpoints, 30 checkpoints in Nigeria
Agreed.
side
Yeah.
with bad roads. We should not have, and that's we've
Kalu, you're right. I've done that trip like 10 times, and I'll tell you, it's smooth from. Okay, well, I've done the furthest was from Senegal right to Lagos, and the worst is when you get to I mean the semi border
that
down to Badagry. And it's funny, you may not know this, but Gowon built the road you have from Cotonou, well, not entirely, but the part from Parakou and Port Novo to semi border. He
yeah.
did it in the 80s. So I mean, that's the nature of finances. But I'm just saying, let's not sleep on it and think that because the nation is a mess, we will just keep whining. I find it, and this is one of the first times I'm speaking in the podcast, and it's because it's you, someone I admire. But I just think we should take it upon ourselves and make it happen. Kenyans are making it happen because the average age is 19. These kids are fed up. So if we sit back and we're just watching, we may not win politically, but we can push economically in our own little way and try and drive the message home. I think I'll yield my mic, but I think
Yeah, so,
yeah,
so I think so. I mean, the key point again for Kenya that
yeah,
was impressed with
yeah,
where the religious guys came out and said we support the kids. The tribes came out and said we
yeah,
support the kids. The court
absolutely.
came out and said we support the kids. So there was nowhere for the politicians to hide. They couldn't hide
Yeah,
survive. They couldn't hide under the court. They couldn't hide
Mhm.
the army. Everyone said we support the kids. Answer the kid.
Mhm. And Kalu, if I may, let's the final point. I think, and I think I can't buttress the point enough. I've had the privilege of working in French African countries, in West Africa, in Central Africa. We're living in the bubble in Nigeria. We seem to think that the whole world rotates around us, so we don't realize that people are making things happen elsewhere, and that's why you hear me cry repeatedly about the importance of regional integration. We need it.
I hear
we
you.
need we need it to be able to further our conversations and then get to where we want to go. Thank you
Perfect.
very much. Yeah.
Perfect. I apologize if anyone wants to speak. There was just no time. We've got to shut it down. 3 hours. We've been talking about the IMF, interventions in Africa, looking at the structured development programs, World Bank, the history of it all. Where is the IMF coming from? Are they bad or good for Nigeria? I mean, the space has agreed that it's not the IMF per se. It's the implementation and the honesty and the competence of the local politicians that determines if IMF policies work or don't work. They haven't worked most times in Africa and Nigeria in particular. They seem to have worked in Asia. Asian crisis IMF did a good job there. So we really can't blame others for our misfortune. We've got to get our act together. If we are borrowing, we should use those funds for what they are earmarked for. Developing the infrastructure, creating wealth within Nigeria for Nigerians, so that we can then be able to go back, if possibly, and tax the same Nigerians to then repay those loans. IMF is not to blame, in my opinion. You guys have also given your own opinion, and that's what the whole space is all about. We give opinions, we share, and we learn. Thanks for being here, guys, for nearly 3 hours. We'll be here again next week, say on the topic, but talking about, of course, your money, your economy, and your finance, and how that's going to be personal to you. Remember, guys, I'm an author. If you do want to get my book, it's on Amazon. Let's talk about your money. It's all personal finance, 22 years of experience, US and America, from crypto to savings to real estate. To ETFs, all in there, how you can do it in nice, simple language with pictures. Adults like pictures. On that note, guys, I'll see you guys next week. Keep it simple. Keep it simple, guys. Have a good one. Love you all, and bye.